Let me hear it, Alpha. All right. This is Huddle Bravo. Let me hear it, Bravo. All right, so what we're going to do, in the SEAL teams, we've got this amazing thing called a war cry, right? Our war cry is hoo-yah. And if you listen real good, sometimes when you're here in San Diego, you can hear the students over at Bud's getting the war cry right now. They'll be like, hoo-yah! And that war cry sums up the energy that you have to be a part of your team, to be a part of your group, to be a part of your huddle, that makes you better every day. And it gets you all fired up inside and makes you just tingle, right? Right? You got a war cry. What's your war cry? That's pretty awesome. All right. So we're going to have a little war cry competition, okay? Alpha, on the count of 3, I want to hear the loudest hoo-yah you can muster. Roger that? All right. 1, 2, 3. Hoo-yah! Ah, that's music to my ears. Music. All right, Bravo. You can't take that. You got to come dig deep, man. I mean, get down inside where you don't even like to talk about, okay? All right, here we go. On 3, loudest hoo-yah you ever did. 1, 2, 3. Hoo-yah! Holy cow, how's that feel to get beat down like that? All right, now together on 3. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Hoo-yah! Yeah! All right, everybody sit down. Fired up. Oh, that's awesome. That gets your day going, doesn't it? All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, for the past 20 years, I have been exploring the human condition around the world. Now, this journey, this amazing, blessed journey I've been on, has taken me from the lacrosse fields at Penn State where I played, right? It's taken me to these waters right outside, on the other side in this bay. Actually, another funny story, I'll digress real quickly. The marina right behind here, I got lost for 4.5 hours one night. It was a horrible, horrible thing. But in that time, I spent 15 months in the frigid waters of the Pacific Ocean going like this every day. Please make it stop, right? To the mountains of Afghanistan on 7 different occasions, and to the shores of Haiti doing missionary work with my church. And what I've learned in this incredible journey are a few undeniable truths about what enables us to succeed. Now, truth number 1 is you got fear in your heart always, and you can't defeat it. Everybody's like, well, that's a bummer. That's a bummer. That's a total bummer, man. The problem is, ladies and gentlemen, is you're wired for fear, right? You've got fear that's built into your little gray matter right up there like that, okay? So in your gray matter, you've got this thing called the amygdala, right? An amygdala there, amygdala there, amygdala there. And this amygdala is your fight or flight. So unless you remove that, you're going to have fear in your life, period. And we need it for survival. It's a good thing. The other challenge is you've been taught fear your whole life as well, too. I've got these 2 beautiful little girls. One's 4, I call her the bear. And my 2-year-old, I call her the bruiser, right? It's normal names, right? Normal names. Heck yeah, it is. So these 2 every day, man, they'll go outside, go out and play, and I'm like this, no, don't run in the street, right? Or no, don't climb on the furniture. All day long teaching them fear. We have that. It's part of our lives. We have it in what we do for a living, right? You guys get on your conference huddle calls and you talk about fear and dealing with clients. You talk about fear and meeting numbers. You talk about fear in your lives and your personal lives with your family. Folks, we've got fear, period. So what you have to learn to do is embrace it. Truth 1. The second one is self-confidence is really important. And thank God you're in the front row for me to give me that all day long, because you've got some heavy self-confidence, don't you? If you want to just let out a hoo-yah, go for it too.
But hoo-yah!
Let's get a hoo-yah. So self-confidence is huge. It's important, and you got to forge it every single day. The third one is you got to live with purpose. If you don't have purpose in your life, you don't have momentum. You don't have anything driving you forward, anything pulling you out of bed every single day. You got to understand, who am I, why am I here, and what is my reason for living? Purpose. And the last one, and the one I learned that left an indelible mark, not only in my heart, but in my soul, on those beaches across the street over there, is nobody does it alone. There's not a single person in this whole room right now that can raise their hand and say, you know what, Rut, I've done it by myself. Not a single person out there has helped me, not a one. You know what I'd say? I'd say negative. Now, I get in front of 1,000 sixth graders, right, because I talk to a bunch of kids as well, too. I get in front of 1,000 sixth graders. All right, who in here believes that you know of someone in history that's done it completely by themselves? And little Johnny would be like, whap! And I'll be like, little Johnny, who you think? And he's like, Abraham Lincoln. I'm like, negative, he had a team of rivals. And then I'll come over here and somebody, I was just at a Catholic school in Mobile, Alabama recently, and I had this little girl whip her hand up. She said right here, she goes, Jesus Christ. And I said, negative. He had the Almighty, and he had his apostles. And she's like, oh, okay. We all need help. So as a result of that, you have to recognize that you have to live what I call a team life. You have to be 100% focused that everything you think about, everything you do is with someone else, is with a team. Amen, right? So, now, I know what you're thinking. You're like, all right, that's pretty cool stuff, kid. 20 years, pretty cool experiences. I get it. But let me just move on. I combine my experience with 70-plus years of operations, training, and elite performance from the United States Navy SEAL teams. For 70 years, we've been pushing the envelope. We've been setting the bar. We've been setting the standard for what the team life is and how you should live. Now, I always like to, yeah, that's what I like right there. Fired up, airborne. So what I always like to do is I like to come out in the crowd and ask, what do you think Navy SEALs do for a living? Protect. Good one, good one. How about right here, sir? You whip that hand up fast. What do you think we do for a living? Protect. That's all right. It's repetitive now. All right. What about you, ma'am? What do you think we do? I'm waiting for my favorite answer. What do you think we do? No, good way to help out. I didn't call on you, but I like your excitement. I like your style, sir. What about you? What do you think, ma'am? Whoa, again, a lot of protect. My favorite answer is we kick butt, right? That's my favorite answer, right? Awesome. We kick butt. The problem is it's so much more than that. So what I've done is I've prepared a little motivational movie to get you into understanding of what we're going to talk about in this team life idea over the next hour. This movie will help you understand our lineage, where we come from, and what validates my reason to be able to stand in front of you and talk straight from my heart to you in the hopes to help you today in any way I can. So without further ado, let's check this out. For 70 years, thank you. For 70 years, we've been sacrificing for all of you. For 70 years, we've been giving everything we are. Thank you. Thank you. We've been giving everything we are to our communities, to our families, to our children. But more importantly, we're willing to give everything we are and potentially everything we will ever be for the man that's next to us. This is the team life. This is what my mission here is today, is to help you understand this standard, to help you redefine your understanding of what that mission might look like for you. Now, what you see right here is the Medal of Honor. This is our nation's highest award. So I felt it's only fit that in our world, this is the standard of the team life. This is the standard. So today, I'm going to share with you 4 stories, 4 Medal of Honor stories from our unit to help you understand how we define the team life, in the hopes that something inside you will change. Something inside you will come alive, and today you will begin redefining your understanding of what it means to live the team life. So what I've also done is I've created 4 missions to help you learn how to live the team life. All right, so here they are, fired up. Commitment, training, communication, and leadership. Now, before all of you throw up a little bit in your mouths because you're going to get another talk about commitment, just and halt, all right? And halt, calm down, or leadership talk, all right? I know everybody's seen these a gazillion times. How many times have you seen these in a talk? Dozens. Heck, does anybody beat dozens? If I got so many older people in here, hundreds, right? Right, hundreds of times. In fact, if you hear another dude go, well, what did I tell you about leadership? There I was. You're going to be like, no more, right? So we're going to take a different approach today. So what I want to do is, I want to ask, do I have any, can you turn the house lights up for me real quick? Do I have any people in here that played either professional athletics or Division I athletics? Right there. There's one. What'd you play, sir? Where at? Awesome, dude. All right, you're going to help me. What's your name? All right, I had over here. Where'd you play? Awesome. What position? Center. I love it. You're a big dude, for sure. All right, give me a female. Where do I have a female in the audience? Right here. Who played? Right over there. Where'd you play, ma'am? He just dimed you out. Denver? What'd you play? Awesome. Love that. I mean, hardcore. Were you crazy in the back powder stuff, all that, all day long? You're not that nuts then. I know. All right. So you three are going to help me define these today. Roger that? Do I get a Roger that? Thumbs up? He's like, no, I made a mistake. I shouldn't have raised my hand. No, it'll be good. Trust me. All right. So we're going to talk about this, and we're going to help you redefine these terms that have probably come a little diluted in your life by now. Trust me, I know. You've seen them way too many times. You're getting tired of them. You don't want to see them anymore. But what I ask of you is just kind of open your hearts and open your minds to me over the next little while and help, so I can help you redefine them. So let's get started. All right, big guy right over here. Give me your definition of commitment. Go ahead, stand up for me so everybody can see. Definition of commitment, balls to the wall, all out every day. I'm sorry, ladies. I'm sorry. But only a nose guard would say that, right? I'm sorry. It was offensive, sorry about that. It's just funny to me. All right. So let me tell you our definition of commitment, all right? So in 2006, Petty Officer Mike Mansour was with SEAL Team 3 on his first deployment. This is his first get-go. He's an FNG, a blanket new guy. First one out the door, right? And he's operating in the most dangerous place in the world. Now, if you guys have forgotten those days, during that time in the Iraq War, we were losing about 100 to 125 people a day, every day in the war. And this place, Al Ramadi, was the worst place on earth. But it's a good thing nobody told the SEAL teams, because they were kicking the snot out of them, all right? In fact, Mike Mansour, and just in case you've forgotten also who we were fighting, right before SEAL Team 3 showed up, an Al-Qaeda bomb-making cell kidnapped a special needs 14-year-old girl, put a 25-pound explosive vest on her, walked her into a police recruiting line, and detonated her remotely. That's who we're fighting, just so you know, all right? So the SEAL teams were bringing it to those people. And Mike was in particular, in his first deployment, was operating at such a high caliber, such a high standard, that he had already been put in the first part of his deployment, put in for the Silver Star, our nation's third highest award, because when they were out on a patrol, they got pinned down, one of his guys got shot up, and in order to get him out of this building that was getting rocketed and smoked, he had to cross the street and get this guy. His buddy had to drag him into this APC, this armored personnel carrier. Well, Mike busts out of the thing, gets in the middle of the street with his belt-fed machine gun, and just starts going, taking everybody on by himself, right? That's awesome, right? Exactly what you said. And then that way, his buddy picked him up and dragged his other buddy to safety. So that's how Mike was already performing. Now, towards the end of the deployment, Team 3, Team 5 was coming in, and the task unit commander for 3 goes to the whole team and says, all right, gents, we need some people to volunteer to stay extra time, to do turnover with Team 5. How many hands went up, you think, ma'am? All of them, ma'am. Not none, all of them. Remember, this is what we like to do. Seems a little odd, I know, but it's what we like to do. So Mike's was one of the first hand that went up, right? Boom! And because he was operating at such a high caliber, he was chosen. Now, this is a new guy, and his first platoon was chosen to stay extra time to teach the Team 5 guys the lay of the land, right? That peer evaluation, that high energy, right? That you guys talk about on a regular basis. That energy to be involved, to support your teammates no matter what the cost, right? So he sticks around. So unfortunately, they went out on a patrol not much longer after that when turnover was going on, and they were in a fight, and they got into fights 3/4 of the times they went out the door in Ramadi at that time. They got into gunfights, and so they were in a gunfight, and they had moved to a position on top of this roof. 2 snipers were providing overwatch for the other platoon that were trying to maneuver, and Mike was checking their 6. He was holding security with them, right, because he was a big belt-fed machine gunner, big dude and all that. So these snipers were going to town, and unbeknownst to Mike and those guys, an insurgent had seen where they were firing, had snuck up next to the side of that building, pulled out a hand grenade, pulled it, and threw it up, and that thing came right up, boom, and hit Mike on the chest. Now, what I want you to just briefly for a moment, I'll revisit this later, I want you to think to yourself, what would you do? Mike screamed, "Grenade out!" and jumped on it, and boom! Petty Officer Mike Mansour took the entirety of that blast in his face and his chest. Now, because Mike was such a hard individual, he lasted for another 35 minutes before he passed away on the medevac route. Now, the kicker to this story, ladies and gentlemen, okay? Please listen. The kicker to this story is there was a stairwell right next to him. And all he had to do was jump down that stairwell to save his own life, but he didn't. He turned and jumped on the grenade, sacrificing himself so his 2 brothers could both go home and hug their wives, kiss their children, and fight another day. Now I ask you, does that change your definitive commitment a little bit? It has to, right? You can't not hear that story and not start thinking about, well, maybe I'm not defining commitment in the way I need to. Maybe I'm not applying the right energy. So what I've done is saying, hey, if you want to start understanding commitment, first you have to commit to yourself physically, right? Number one. Now, people all the time ask, why do Navy SEALs do all those crazy things, like stay up for 5 straight days in Hell Week and put on, 40-pound rucks and go running in the mountains? Because I'll tell you why, ladies and gentlemen. There's no timeouts in combat. So think about to yourselves, man. Are you really committed to yourself physically? Because we all know when the going gets tough, the more in shape, the more focused you are on what you eat and what you consume, the better you are. Now, I'm looking around. I know that probably a couple people in this room probably pushed it a little bit too far last night. And that's all right. I understand totally. I've been known to do that myself once or twice, But you have to understand that if you want to endure at the highest level with your team, commit yourself physically. The second one is mentally. How many chess players I got in the room? Boom. How'd I know? I just, you see me turn and look right at you right there. I love it. Why do you play chess? Stand up for me.
Prepares you for life because you always stay 4 moves ahead in the chessboard. You always stay ahead in life.
I love it. That's awesome. You're always ahead in life, right? The strategy, the reading your opponent, understanding what they're thinking, getting involved with them, pushing your brain to think an entirely different way. That's awesome. How many people in this room are doing it all the time? Now, you got to understand, the national average for that question is about 2, right? And I could be in front of 1,000 people at Novo Nordisk or in front of another Merrill Lynch company, and it's like 2 people raise their hand. Why? Why aren't we challenging ourselves mentally every day of the week? Because we're lacking that commitment. The last one is spiritually. All right, you're going to dig this. This is my favorite part. All right, here we go. All right. We are gathered here today for me to preach to you, to tell you I do not care if you are Catholic or Jewish or Hindu or Muslim or atheist or agnostic, folks. I don't care. I've worked with every kind of person there is on this planet. We all bleed red. What I care about is there's something that gets you out of bed every morning. There's something that you have faith in that's bigger than yourself. There's something that you're willing to sacrifice for another human being. That's powerful. Are you working on it? Are you working on it right now? Did you work on it today? Are you going to go work on it tonight? Because I tell you, with those 3 things, you're on the road to commitment. Now to your team, all right? Never quit. Who in here's never quit anything in their life? Oh, I knew I'd get one. It's rare, but I do. Ma'am, what's your name? Shayla, you look lovely today, by the way. Shayla, so you never quit anything, not one time. You're going to So the ideas you have, right? Just one. It's all right, I'll accept that, all right? So just last week, I was in Orlando at a big convention down there for some folks, and this woman whipped up her head, and I said, where? Ran over just like that, and I was like, you never quit anything in your life? She's like, nope, my daddy didn't raise me that way, and I was like, that's awesome, I love that. I was like, so that's cool. I go, can I have your phone? She goes, what for? And I said, I want to call your dad right now, because I'm going to ask him, between the ages of 2 and 8, did Barbara ever quit anything? And she's like, I don't see how that's relevant. And I was like, aha! The fact is, we've been quitting for a long time, folks. How many people in here in this room intended to wake up and go for a run this morning but played alarm clock tag for 20 minutes? Right here, yeah. Ann's got her hand up right there. I know, Ann, I know. All right, this isn't my first rodeo. The problem is, I hope nobody has these grand quits in their life that they regret. But the reality is, we all quit, a little bit every day. What you have to start doing is pulling those back a little bit, trimming them away and get rid of them. Whether you want a teammate needs your help, or you're going to be more positive when you interact with them, or they're looking for help and you don't tell them, I'm just too busy, I'll get back to you tomorrow. Those are forms of quitting, and that's not commitment to your team. No whining. Who in here is a world grand champion of whining? Boom, in the back, I love it. She was like, right here. Oh my God, that's so awesome. Stand up for me. Stand up. What's your name? Oh, awesome. So is she a whiner? Is she really bad? Oh, yes. Who said yeah right there? That dude was like, yeah, throw her under the bus. Run her over. Hold on, I'm backing up. Now, why do you whine so much? It feels better to talk about it. See, she was honest in that statement, and I love it. I love your ink, brother. So, in that statement, she's honest, right? She says, I got to whine. I got to get it off my chest. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, I've been in 1 or 2 combat zones, and I was a bitchin' sailor. And a bitchin' sailor is a happy sailor, okay? So the reality is, if you don't whine, your head will explode. It's weird. That's really bizarre. I've seen it happen. So we have to whine a little bit. But the problem is when the whining becomes a consistent part of your vernacular, where everything is just always whining, and we like to call it sarcasm nowadays, but it's the same thing. And everybody's like, damn, that's me. So the reality is if you are that person, what you're doing, granted, Roger, I know I've been in tough times and I had to whine as well too, but trust me, every time you whine, you're sending out a little piece of infection on somebody. Because then they have to stop, take your whine, flip it around, use energy, and bring it back. That's not what we do in the SEAL teams. It's not what we do on the playing field, and it's certainly not what you do in your huddles. So please, no whining. All right, and the last one is the mission never ends. All right, everybody, I want you to imagine this awesome, this is a huge ultra marathon of life, right? And you guys are going to get going when you're kids, and you're going to get knocked down, and then you're going to get picked back up, and you're going to get in your adolescence, you're going to learn a couple juke moves, college, and you're like, yeah, I'm doing good. Boom, first job, back up, keep going, and keep doing a little bit of successful, become a manager, and you're like, And maybe you reached a point where you're driving a Bentley, you've got a second home in Aspen, or you've got some offshore bank accounts in the Grand Turks or something. But ladies and gentlemen, you're not done. It's not over. Because now's the time you got to share what you know. Now's the time you got to share everything you've learned for your team, for the people who don't know it, because they need you. So don't be afraid to share what you learned in the missions, because they never end. All right, hoo-yah. Can I get a hoo-yah? Oh, man, that's just like it fires me up.